future prospects, I think we want to approach it carefully, protect our taxpayers and the residents of the county. And it has some exciting potential for future growth.
Okay, seeing nothing else here, would entertain questions. We just kind of wanted to give everyone a broad overview of where we're at this point. We want to try to give you all the information. This has been a process over the last, I think, 3 years to get to this point. Hopefully we will get a little bit accelerated now. Thanks to Bob and Deer Valley with the plan. We've been kind of waiting on that. Great glad that I know others participated with that firm to kind of coincide to get their advice and design on how they can proceed. So at this point, we're willing to field questions. Let's go. Yes,
Looking at most of the planning so far, it seems to be winter skiing, which it should be, but as Doug mentioned, this is a Four Seasons idea. So I was just going to throw out there, maybe in the planning stages, we could consider hiking and biking trails, maybe throw a measly $1 million or $2 that too.
No, Bob and I had a conversation, Bob Wheat and I did. They understand that the primary driver here, the value is obviously skiing, but it also does have to include the other seasonal components. They're just not nearly as high in the priority, nor as expensive. So yes,
But they have been somewhat included in some of this analysis.
They will be involved.
Oh, they will be involved, yeah.
Not much involved.
Yes.
Great to hear.
It's just there by default.
thank you, Don. Yes.
Understanding that the county can't force Mayflower into participating in this, given that, and also given that Mayflower's access to Deer Valley Resort and its proximity to Deer Valley Resort has a tremendous effect on its property value. Can't Deer Valley effectively use a big stick and work with the county and Mayflower and say, you have to be in here?
I think that's kind of happening. I think you'd realize a lot of Deer Valley is now using Mayflower property. They have leases on a lot of the property already. The challenge with Mayflower isn't necessarily having a stick. They've had some changes. We're dealing with a foreign entity. They've had some changes in management, and they're going through a big change on their side, and we can't push them too hard because they've got to work through their issues. I think everybody sees in the long run this is going to happen. I think they recognize that. I think they're willing to sell the property to somebody that does that or something else. But to make it happen is taking longer than most of us would like, but we may not be able to push it any harder. But I totally respect what you're saying, and I think we're working with everybody to try and coerce, might be the better word, involvement.
You know, Deer Valley might have a stick. We have more of a carrot. And they may have a stick, but that's entirely up to them. That's not up to us. But I think ours is more of a carrot to induce them to come along.
Bob, you want to respond to that question about...
Oh, don't have a lead, but sorry, I'm Steve. Yeah, I wouldn't want to swing a stick at a landlord. That would just be my take, but...
I'm sorry, I was...
So we've been working pretty closely with Mayflower, obviously, over the years, and we have a good relationship with the prior management. But they never took any action. They never did anything in terms of part of this, the whole idea, any of the development on that side. So things are changing over there, and there's new management in place who we've met with several times already, and they've been very forthcoming with information and traveling back and forth. So I think there is a very good pipeline there, and they are interested in moving the ball forward. But it doesn't happen overnight, so we just need to restart the patient. I think in the short term, we will see some movement.
I appreciate that comment. I was talking to Bob.
Oh, sorry.
Bob's had a great relationship with the Mayflower property over the years. I guess I can call it that. And I know Bob's been involved in discussions with the new management team that's in place and so forth. And that's what I was asking, Bob. Do you have anything to add or respond?
Just something very short to give you an idea about the difficulties they're having. The two new directors were installed that had never been to the property. They do not have a vested interest in the property at all. But they've been given the charge to determine what to do with the property. And so they came out here in October and they were introduced to the county and many of the players that were involved in putting the arsenal together just to get an understanding of what assets they had, because they had no idea, they'd never been to Utah. They have underneath them, underneath the directors, 60, 70, or 100 investors that these directors answer to. And the responsibility that these directors have is huge, because these investors have been in the property or invested in the property since 1980. And they're wondering what's happening to their money and are they ever going to see a return. So understanding what property they have and represent is a huge challenge for them. We've been working an awful lot on trying to explain it to them, explain politics, explain the way you do real estate in America, as well as Utah, the various jurisdictions, and it's a huge challenge for them. But I'm very pleased with what they have done so far. I think they came in the first meeting and made things better with the county, with a check that was overdue, and I think they are very serious about pursuing. So they want to proceed with this, but they have investors that they're responsible for, and it's going to take some time for them to understand the property. And as soon as they do, then they're going to be moving ahead in one fashion or another. Pretty much summarized it.
Thanks, Bob. We do appreciate the relationship you developed with them. As Bob said, they came here with the attitude of doing business. They need to take care of their investors, and so I think their attitude has been good. I think we've received it very well, at least I hope we have. But I appreciate their efforts, what they've done here in the past 6-8 months.
And Bob's done a great job trying to help facilitate this. He's here and they trust you to a degree, and you talk to the county and try to relay this and help them understand it. I appreciate what you've done.
Any other questions? When you do, if you'll just state your name. I'm sorry, I forgot the last time, so we can get it on the records with Jamie Van.
I've got a few things if I can
Absolutely.
stand up here. My name is Van Haymeyer, and I'm here with Ted and Diana Swanner, and between the two of us, we own the Blue Ledge property that's been spoken of a little bit here, 40 acres. I can't stand at the podium and not say that stick comment pisses me off.
That was a poor choice of words,
that does not work ever. And we've had some difficult times over the last few years. I think some things have turned out well in the end, and Deer Valley has been great to work with in putting this ski plan together. I appreciate Mike clarifying something today, and that was the difference between the MIDA control area and the Wasatch County control area. We've invested millions of dollars in that property over the last 3 years, and up until weeks ago, that still has not been made clear. And our investment banking firm is at the Alice Conference in Los Angeles right now, working with all of the major brands. Our product is ready to be developed. We're hopeful that that will start in the spring of 2015. The main reason I wanted to get up was, first of all, to say that there is progress being made with everything that's happened with MIDA. And I want to address some of the stuff that Mike talked about at the beginning, because I can't make sense of some of the numbers that you put up, and I want to put up a different side of it, that by far the Blue Ledge site has been analyzed in the most detail by the bonding company that Wasatch County works with, MIDA works with, Lewis and Young down in Salt Lake. And we have a development that will cost $182 million to build, the vertical construction of everything. And Lewis and Young's economic feasibility analysis that was part of the project area creation for phase 1 shows that development generates $34 million in tax increment, and we've committed to use all of the tax increment that we receive on that, which is 80%. 20% goes to MIDA for their administration and for the tax increment that will help subsidize the Air Force Hotel. This is only 40 acres of a 2,200 acre development. Our ERUs for the whole project have come to about 200 to 220, depending on a couple of variables. And we're going to provide $20 million of net present value tax increment for the Deer Valley Ski Plan. We've committed to use that on ski lifts and ski runs. And I don't understand where on the remaining, the general feeling from that was, we're not sure that in the rest of the project area, there's going to be enough tax increment to accomplish the $77 million, which I agree with all of the different things that you listed. I know that those are all needs in the project area, but I'd like to know where, as a citizen of Wasatch County and a taxpayer, where the disconnect is between $182 million, even at the 80%, generating $34 million in tax increment, and it taking $16.3 billion to generate $77 million. I just don't understand.